This is the Mistress Carrie Situation Report for July 2nd, 2024. Your daily music headlines, industry info, and everything rock. Slipknot are bringing the Here Comes the Pain 25th anniversary tour to the Xfinity Center in Mansfield, Massachusetts. The show's happening on August 15th with Knocked Loose and Orbit Culture. Tickets are on sale now. Over the weekend, Slipknot celebrated the 25th anniversary of the release of their self-titled debut album on July 29th. That now qualifies Slipknot for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Godsmack have announced they'll release their third album, Faceless, on vinyl for the first time coming up on August 9th. The album features #1 songs like I Stand Alone and Straight Outta Line, giving the band its first #1 album on the Billboard Top 200. The album was originally released in 2003. Faceless sold 269,000 copies in its first week. The Red Hot Chili Peppers also announced they're set to commemorate the 25th anniversary of their 7th studio album, Californication. They're doing it with a 2-LP limited edition colored vinyl pressing. Set for release on July 26th, the 2-LP red and ocean blue vinyl is coming out via Rhino Records. Californication was originally released on June 8, 1999, and produced by Rick Rubin. Willie Nelson has been medically cleared and will be able to resume his Outlaw Music Festival tour. The co-headlining tour with Bob Dylan has the 91-year-old out on the road with Robert Plant and Alison Krauss on the first leg and John Mellencamp on the second leg. Willie Nelson had to miss the first 3 dates due to an unspecified illness. German heavy metal legends Accept are celebrating their 50th anniversary in 2025 and 2026. The band will be ringing in their golden birthday with a unique anniversary tour at the end of 2025. To mark the mammoth milestone, an anniversary album will also be released in early 2026. The North American dates feature KK's Priest, and will stop at the Tupelo Music Hall in Derry, New Hampshire on September 14th, the Wilbur Theater in Boston, Massachusetts on September 15th, the Ridgefield Playhouse in Ridgefield, Connecticut on September 16th, and the Strand Ballroom in Providence, Rhode Island on September 21st. Lzzy Hale surprised a Nashville cover band by joining the group on stage for an impromptu duet of Here's to Us. Lzzy, who was enjoying a night out in the town in Nashville, stopped by John Bon Jovi's new live music bar on Broadway. Saying on Instagram, "I don't know what came over me, but I made my way to the stage, surprising the band and the lead singer. We traded lines, harmonized, and brought the whole bar together. This was the first time I've ever jumped on stage on Broadway," she said. Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello, who's getting ready to release his solo rock album later this fall, said in a recent interview, quote, "At any given historical moment, you stand in a place where you live and you stand in the place where you were. That's it. So many people are like, you guys made Rage records 30 years ago and now look at the terrible state of the world. Imagine what it would be like if we didn't make Rage 30 years ago," he said. "At every moment, you can do what you can, when you can, where you can. That's the way I look at it. And the arc of history is a long one. And there are very, very challenging times now, certainly in my country, and I know here as well. And in part, literally, the fate of the planet is at stake over the course of the next few decades, so it's time for metalheads to get their shit together and make a difference." Papa Roach's debut album, Infest, turns 25 in 2025, and the band has started to lay out their anniversary celebration tour. The band have announced a headlining show at London's OVO Arena, Wembley, on February 7th, 2025, with support and a DJ slot to be announced later. Every ticket sold will donate £1 to the Campaign Against Living Miserably, otherwise known as CALM. "The UK has always been special to us," said Jacoby Shaddix, "so we wanted to celebrate this music with all of you in a big way, and I can't wait to step on that stage," he said. UB40 are celebrating their 45th anniversary with a 2024 tour throughout the summer. Called the Red Red Wine Tour, it begins in New York City tonight. The band will hit the Wilbur Theater in Boston, Massachusetts tomorrow night, July 3rd, and the Grand Cedar Showroom at Foxwoods Resort Casino in Connecticut on July 5th. Thrash legends Anthrax were name-checked in the new Stephen King book. According to a social media post by Scott Ian from the band, they're mentioned in a new collection of short stories the author released in May under the title You Like It Darker. The story that contains the band's reference is titled Finn. Scott Ian saying, Stephen King name checks us again in his new collection of short stories. I was reading it on a flight home from Europe yesterday. In the fifth story in the book, a rather brutal tale called Finn, Steve uses our song Madhouse as a torture device. It's perfect. I apologize if the sound in my head exploding when I saw Anthrax mentioned woke everyone up on the plane. If you haven't read You Like It Darker, I recommend you do. It is a vicious summer read, he said. Anthrax have always been big fans of Stephen King's work, and there are plenty of references to his stories in their music. Their 1987 album, Among the Living, the title track is based on the 1978 novel The Stand, and Skeleton in the Closet draws from the novella Apt Pupil. Scott Ian said, I saw the movie Carrie when it came out and went straight out and bought the book. I loved it. I went back to the bookstore and asked, what else do you have by Stephen King? They were like, nothing. You have to wait for the next book to come out. I've never met Malcolm or Angus Young, but meeting Stephen King would be even bigger for me, he said. Other than breathing and listening to music, reading Stephen King books is one constant activity in my life. It predates Anthrax, he said. Flav pledged to support the U.S. women's water polo team ahead of the 2024 Olympics in Paris, confirming that he'll be sending each member of the team $1,000 and a trip on a Virgin Voyage cruise ship after the conclusion of the games. After seeing a social media post by the team's captain that most players needed a second or third job to support chasing their dream, Flav pledged his support to the team, vowing to be their hype man and extending financial and social media support throughout their Olympic campaign. The first episode of the Rolling the Rock with Alice Cooper and Rocco Mediate airs this week. Alice Cooper is hooked up with pro golfer Rocco Mediate for a new radio show on SiriusXM. The first episode airs today and features the pair trading tales from their careers, hosting guests from the worlds of entertainment and golf, and discussing all golf-related matters. And Eminem has confirmed that his new album, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, will be released on Friday, July 12th. Alongside the announcement, he shared a cinematic horror-themed trailer for the album. The Death of Slim Shady marks Eminem's 12th studio album to date and serves as the follow-up to 2020's Music to Be Murdered By. A second teaser track called Toby, featuring Big Sean and Babytron, is due out later on today. And that's your sit rep. For more details on all of the stories, check the links in the show notes of this episode. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Episode 212, featuring Scott Stevens from the X's, is available now.